Welcome to the 10 Safety Rules Training for Field Technicians. Course Overview. The purpose of the course is to provide a general understanding of the 10 safety rules, the requirements for each of the rules and the processes involved with the implementation of each of the rules. Below is a list of the supplemental resources that should be used references throughout the course. Approved personal protective equipment. Fatality prevention. Process station. TKE Safety Manual. Safe TK. Big Tin Can. The lobby. Please be sure to ask questions if you have any throughout the course. Course and workshop objectives. Recognize hazards and understand risks. Identify abatement measures accordingly. Understand the enforcement process of the 10 safety rules. Demonstrate knowledge of the 10 safety rules, hands-on. Identify hazards and risks. Link each hazard to the applicable fatality prevention process. Implement abatement measures and identify deficiencies. Demonstrate knowledge of the 10 fatality prevention rules, fatality prevention process. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Before any work is performed, the necessary personal protective equipment must be inspected prior to use. Replace your personal protective equipment as necessary. This includes but not limited to safety shoes and eye protection, hard hat and hearing protection, harness, SRLs and protective gloves. Always use TKE personal protective equipment and consult with your manager/supervisor if special equipment is needed or if your equipment needs to be replaced. Do not alter, modify or repair your personal protective equipment at any time. Mechanical stored energy. When entering the machine room, the first thing we notice when we open the door is that it is self-closing. This is an example of mechanical stored energy and pinch points. Below are some examples of how to prevent being hit or pinched by an object. Secure tools equipment. Use lock and brakes to secure suspended items. Keep your hands away from pinch points. Avoid the red zones. Avoid the red zone. Extreme care shall be taken to avoid placing your body in areas of potential entrapment, i.e., body partly in hoistway, partly out, body leaning over into adjacent hoistway, pinch point areas, etc. Do not step in the shadows. Cab, pit, and car top lighting shall remain on at all times until car is turned back over to the customer. Lockout, tag out. Always wear proper PPE. Remember to put on your arc flash gloves and sleeves. When performing lockout/tag out, stand to the side farthest away from the disconnect when pulling the main line. Be sure to place your HASP, personal lock and completely filled out tag on the main line. Always test and verify. Equipment required. HASP. Tag and personal lock. De-energizing equipment. Personal locks and tags shall be placed on controls that are to be deactivated during the course of work. Equipment or circuits that are de-energized shall be rendered inoperative and have personal locks and tags attached at all points where such equipment or circuits can be energized. Each employee working on the equipment shall have a personal lock and tag on the lockout device. Example, 4 personnel working on equipment requires 4 personal locks and 4 tags on the lockout device. Keys and combinations for personal locks cannot be given out to any other person. Verification of de-energized circuits. The equipment controls shall be checked to see if they will operate. Test equipment shall be used on the electrical circuit to assure no unrelated backfeed or inadvertently induced voltage exists. All multimeters and leads should have a minimum of Cat 3, 1000 volts rating. Live electrical, troubleshooting. Always use a clip in the negative lead and probe with only one hand during live electrical troubleshooting. Be aware of your surroundings when working on live equipment. Know where the high voltage is located, isolate it or guard it from accidental contact. Use protective tools such as gloves, rubber mats, ground fault interrupters, meters, insulated tools etc. Jumpers. Always count jumpers before and after each use. Inspect your jumpers before using them. Check insulation, clips and adapters. Document and report findings. The jumper kit should be placed on the door or a visible spot as an additional reminder to remove all jumpers. Remember to use your jumper log. Report any jumper found on site to a supervisor or a safety manager. Barricades. Barricades protects you from the general public. You must use them when performing car top/pit access and at each end when working on an escalator. In construction sites, barricades are required when fall hazards are present. The must have the following: handrail, midrail, tow board, car top and pit access. Maintain control of the car at all times. Ensure you test and verify all safety circuits work independently of one another, to include door interlocks, stop switch and inspection. Maintain control during car top and pit access at all times, and use the door wedge tool to prevent hazardous stored energy. Pit access. The elevator shall be properly secured as required to eliminate the unexpected and potentially hazardous movement of the elevator. General. Many serious injuries occur every year, entering and exiting pits. Every employee shall be aware of the hazards before entering a pit. Some of the more common hazards are: inadequate refuge space, inadequate lighting, improper access, tripping hazards, unsafe or lack of pit ladders, moisture/water/oil, moving equipment, pit access. Before entering a pit, familiarize yourself with the position of the car and counterweights for the car being worked on, as well as any other cars/counterweights in the vicinity. Pit light shall be turned on and remain on until elevator is returned to public use. Control of the car shall be obtained prior to entry into the pit. Identify a refuge space prior to entering any pit. Lockout/tagout procedures are required if movement of the elevator is not needed to complete the work being performed. If movement of the car is necessary, a written job hazard analysis, Appendix A, must be completed explaining the work to be conducted and safety processes that will be implemented. If notified by the building owner or representative that the pit and/or hoistway have been classified as a permit-required confined space, this notification could be verbal or the pit/hoistway may be labeled. Immediately notify your superintendent/operations manager for further instructions. In either case, do not enter the pit/hoistway before consulting your superintendent/operations manager or before it is reclassified. Fall protection. Before you enter the hoistway, check for hazards. If there's a fall hazard present, you will need to wear your personal fall arrest system. Remember to set up your handrails when accessing the car top. Always use the proper ladder for safe access and egress. Rigging and hoisting. Inspect all rigging and hoisting gear prior to each use. Look for malfunctions or marks of siding in the chain. Inspect the hook and mouse. Document findings, tag equipment for repairs and/or replacement. Use your capstan brake to maneuver the load. Rigging and hoisting. Slings shall be selected in accordance with their intended use, based upon the following: the size of the load, type of the load to be lifted, the location of the load, the environmental conditions of the workplace. Slings are generally one of 4 types: wire rope, metal mesh, synthetic fiber rope, synthetic web. In general, use and inspection procedures place these slings into 3 groups: wire rope, mesh fiber rope, web. All slings shall be visually inspected before use. Due to the difficulties in inspecting and certifying alloy steel chain slings, TKE chain slings shall not be used for lifting except when sent from the manufacturer. Manufacturer or TKE factory supplied chains may be used only for the equipment they were sent with. At any time hoisting is being performed, everyone and all employees should be briefed on proper verbal and nonverbal signals. A clear line of sight and/or open audible communication must be available before any hoisting is to be performed. False car and working platforms. There are 3 types of approved working platforms: elevator platform, crosshead work deck, false car. A minimum of 5 electrical devices are required for safe operation: up, down and common buttons, a stop switch, a key switch. Complete your running platform pre-start checklist located in the safety manual. Remember, all items must be checked and dated before employees are allowed to ride on a temporary platform. Leave the document affixed to each machine in a conspicuous location. 10 Fatality Prevention Process Rules will keep you safe. Prior to any work, proper personal protective equipment must be worn. Personal protective equipment. Upon entering the motor room, you notice the self-closing door. Mechanical stored energy. Shutting down main line. Lockout/tagout. Troubleshooting controller. Live electrical/troubleshooting. Jumper kit on doorknob. Jumpers. Prior to working on car top or entering the pit. Barricades. Safely working in the hoistway. Car top and pit access. Determining if a fall hazard is present. Fall protection. Material handling. Rigging and hoisting. Prior to a running elevator. False cars and working platforms. Course summary. The 10 safety rules covered in the course are the most dangerous in the industry. Following the fatality prevention process is essential to the TCA safety culture. Personal protective equipment. Mechanical stored energy. Lockout, tagout. Live electrical/troubleshooting. Jumpers. Barricades. Car top and pit access. Fall protection. Rigging and hoisting. False car and working platforms. Thank you for completing the 10 safety rules training.